Welcome to Chapter 4. So Chapter 4 is all about two new types of objects, one being forms, one being reports. And so far at this point, we've created a database, and we've talked about how to build fields and tables and how to do the relationships. And then in Chapter 3, we built queries. So now we're going to talk about forms and reports. And a form is simply an object used to help create an interface that can do things like view, add, update, or delete data within a database. Most forms in a database are directly connected to a table or query, usually a table, and the source of the data. Access calls these bound forms. They're bound to the underlying data because they link to the data source. Unbound forms, they don't have a connection to a data source, can be used to help operate the database. For example, you might have an unbound form that contains no data but has buttons that perform different actions, like printing reports or opening other forms. So in this chapter, we're going to learn to create forms that are bound to a table. And just understand that forms provide flexible access to data within a database. And we can create a form with fields from one or more tables and queries. We have a design view, and we also have a layout view where we'll be doing some things. We're going to start with the easy way of doing things and create what's called using our wizard and some of the different ways we can create forms using our wizard. So again, here's our database. There's our employees, our agents, which we have 7 of them still, and our listings, which we have the 57 different houses for sale. And of course, we do have our relationships already created. So we're all in good shape before we dive into creating our first form. And we're going to use the wizard to do this and look at some different ways the wizard can be used to get us started in creating these particular forms. So we're going to come up here to our Create tab. And under Forms, notice we got a few more buttons, right? So the first one that we're going to do is using the Form Wizard, and we're going to set one up here for the listings table. And we're going to move all the fields over. That's the double arrow that moves them all over. And we're going to go ahead and go next. And columnar is the default, so we're going to use that one. Choose next. And we're just going to change the name of this to Listings Form Wizard. And then we're going to choose Finish. And this will open up and let us know what it looks like. Notice how the wizard puts it in this columnar format. That's what that is. And you can see we're looking at one of 57 records, but we're looking at it one at a time. So understand when we do this, that if I were to change the list price, for instance, right here, because it's a bound form, it would change it in the table as well. The interface is different, looking at one record at a time. And again, I could search for different records, but I can scroll through and look at one record at a time. So that's an example of using the form wizard. So let's close that one. Okay, so another one is that you can do is just use the form button. So notice I have the listings table selected. I can go to create and just choose form, and it puts it in columnar format, but notice the format is different. And it puts it in layout view. I can tell by the highlights around. So this is not where I can type in this area right now. I would have to switch views to form view to get where I could change the price, for instance. So right now we're in what's called layout view. Okay, notice the name. It's called listings up here, but if I wanted to change that, I can click up here in layout view. And I could call this one form button just so I can have a name for it. It's not saved right now, but if I hit the save button, just so I can show how that one's different. Okay. All right, close that one and we'll go to another type of one. I like this one. Again, I'm going to do it based on the listings table, and I'm going to create. And under forms, this time I'm going to go under more forms. There's 4 others, but I'll show you what the split form does. This one will show us all 57 in table format down below. And then we're in layout view still, but I see the record we were on, which is record number 1 at the top. Okay, same sort of thing goes here. I can, since I'm in layout view, I can change this and call this listing split form. And again, I can save this, give it a name, split form, and click OK. If I wanted to do any editing, again, I would have to go to form view so I can go in and change these. And you can see as I scroll down here below, it shows me the one up above that I am highlighting. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I can look at all 57 in the table, but I can highlight the one record that I'm interested in. So that's a little bit using forms, using the wizards and the buttons. Very easy to do, maybe not the exact interface that we're looking for. So we'll move into using forms from scratch and creating some of those here in just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to save that one. That's it on 4-1. Be looking for 4-2. Thanks.